Call the Finance and Operations Committee to order. And our first order of business is to consider applications for 5 different boards and committees. So if y'all want to start with that first one, is York County Forever.
Okay. All right, York County Forever, recommendation for consideration, the appointment of Pierre Langevin for first term.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, this is Board of Assessment Appeals, recommendation for consideration of appointment of Vicky Smith for a first term.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, Leslie Fire Tax Board, recommendation for consideration, the reappointment of Paul Watts for a second term in, I think we can do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them. Recommendation of consideration for reappointment of Joe Coggins for a second term.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Let me ask you real quick before I do this one. So I went through these right here. Kyle L. is a CPA. Is that somebody that, I know that he's good? I mean, I know Kyle. He's pretty good. Is that somebody
Only
that?
Daniel Venosta.
Okay, so Kyle's not somebody that,
I would not consider him for a board.
okay,
Especially not one where he's not in favor of green space.
okay. And in these, are we gonna fill the other seats
We
on
are.
there?
Yep.
Okay, but not tonight?
Not tonight.
Okay. All right, Bethel Lake Wiley Land Acquisition and Preservation Park District Board, recommendation for consideration, the appointment of Daniel Venosta for a filling an unexpired term.
Second.
Okay?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Are you and I? You said aye?
Aye.
Motion passes.
No, I'm just wondering why we ain't filling the other one tonight. We got plenty of names.
It's not about names, it's about candidates and who they are and what they represent and whether or not they are in favor or they are opposed to land preservation. It's a conflict of interest to put somebody on there that's bashed the conservation initiative. That's a local District 2 board, so it's very important that that be local District 2 representative. It's gotta have the right people. It's gotta have the right people on there.
Okay, Planning Commission, recommendation to move John Segura to a vacant District 2 seat contingent on the council reducing the PC to 7.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, finance update, Aaron?
You have in front of you the month of August, with it being, the month of August and very early into the fiscal year. There's not a whole lot of information, but there's no surprises to date. That's a good thing. We're still going to harp on vacancies, and for the month of August, for the Sheriff's Office and the rest of the General Fund, we had an approximate 10.8% vacancy rate across the board in both. So, we've been talking about that for a while now. It's just going to continue to maintain probably around 10%, kind of fluctuates up, kind of fluctates down, but just to let y'all know that that's going to continue to be an issue going forward right now.
So, quick question on that. Is that the average, are we seeing that across the board, like Rock Hill? I mean, where are we?
All governments right now are on it, and this is to find certain positions. It's just hard to get good applicants in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some departments that are doing well with vacancies, and others that just continue to struggle. And I don't want to sidebar into political discussions, but some areas that require more kind of manual labor, kind of work, it's hard to get those filled. And we're trying to look at what we can do in the county. I think right now our salaries are at a good place across the board. We're looking at other benefits right now. I mean, a while back we had looked at the paternity leave stuff, paternity, I'm going to mess that up. We're looking at vacation stuff. I know there's an ordinance out there to try to do that. Those are things that don't cost money. Trying to make the county more attractive, but what I don't want to do is get out there and, oversell ourselves or try to artificially inflate prices. The areas we're particularly struggling in, water and sewer right now, that's a problem. We've got some proactive plans to try to address that, and we need to drive those down. I think, what are some of the other areas? Most of them, tend to be up in public works where you're actually having to work outside a lot and do things like that. And it's just hard to get people to want to do those jobs right now. Like I say, I'm not going to come to y'all and recommend we do another salary increase across the board. There might be some particular positions that we have to look at and try to adjust because, life's supply and demand with stuff, but we want to be more precise with that if we're going to get into salary adjustments to fill these vacations. But it's something we look at and think about a lot, and we've got a person in HR that's responsible for recruitment, and it's a difficult nut to crack right now, but it is a problem, Tom, that's not just York County, that's local governments, and honestly major employers all across the U.S. right now. It's hard to find people that want to work.
So are we doing any type of signing bonus with say the sheriff's office? Or?
When we look at positions, and one thing y'all have done, and this has helped fill some positions, we have the ability to use the entire salary range if necessary. We hired a young lady from, she came from California to fill a critical position up in IT and GIS. And, that allows us to be precise. I don't want to get out there. The sheriff has something like that. The solicitor does as well. I'll use the solicitor as an example. This is why sometimes money is not the answer. The state allocated a ton of money to all the solicitors' offices to go hire more people. They're all compete for the same people.
Right.
So you're stealing from each other with that.
Kept the field level.
Yeah,
and an advantage.
And I'm not saying that was necessarily the wrong thing to do or advocating for the right thing to do, but I don't want to go out there and start advocating for sign-on bonuses or anything else. I think right now when a department head finds somebody that's talented, there's a process in place where it can go to the county manager and he can make a decision on that entire salary range. And one thing the class and comp study did before, our ranges were much tighter and it had a lot more grades. Well, those ranges now are broader, and so we have more to work with. But I think we need to be more strategic in how we use that. I don't want to go in there and start, for everybody that's going to work with water and sewer, we're going to give you a $2,000 signing bonus. I don't want to start into that stuff. It gets overly complicated. And I want somebody that's going to not come here for the 6 months that you have to work to keep the sign-on bonus. We'd like to get some employees who are going to stay here for a long time. So, but
I know it's a challenge. I just want to hear the kind of strategy you're thinking about. Or continuing education. Again, I don't know what is the strategy around it. Is there an additional strategy of what we can do to try to either bring them on, or in maybe education program where they can advance. And I think
young lady
open-ended about it.
We paid for to take some Spanish classes. She works in the tax office. Works in the tax office in Rock Hill, and she can use that to help communicate with some of the taxpayers. And I think those are things that have in the past gone to the county manager's office. I don't know if we're to the point where we advertise that, because most of these positions are more laborer type positions. But I think nothing's off limit, and if we think there's a program that's going to help us with that, we're not going to hesitate to bring it to y'all to put that in place.
Okay, cool. Good.
I'd like to have a motion for the approval of the minutes from the October 16th meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have a motion for adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. There you go.
Like that.
Thank you.
What's that for the thing?